Hi Yefo, I hope you're having a great first week of Ramadan. Those who are celebrating, this is your only social studies lesson for this week, and we continue learning about weather and climate in the Americas. Today's lesson should only last 40 minutes. That's why the whole lesson and the instruction in general is going to be shorter, and your activity is going to be a very easy one. So hopefully you can get this all done in 40 minutes. All right, let me show you the presentation. Please sit back, listen, relax, and listen to me explain. All right, so here is the presentation. I'm going to put it into presentation mode. There we go. Sorry, I need to start from the beginning. Okay, so weather and climate. Right, in this lesson, we're going to focus on describing climate of different regions across the Americas. And how will I do this? I will do this by comparing the climate of a region of Americas with where I live. All right, okay, just a little bit of quick recap at the beginning. Okay, so what are the features of different climate zones? What impact does climate zone have on a place? Obviously, it really matters where place is on planet Earth, what latitude it has. This really impacts the weather of a place, and you know that. So the most important thing here is to remember the very important lines of latitude because they kind of give the boundaries to all the climate zones. So we have equator at 0 degrees, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 degrees north and south, and then we have Arctic Circle at 66.5 degrees and Antarctic Circle 66.5 degrees too, but Arctic is north, Antarctic is south. All right. So what do we remember about these lines of latitude? I just said that the most important thing to know is what degrees they lay at, and also we already know that they give boundaries to different climate zones. So, okay, so basically between the tropics, we have the tropical climate, okay? Between tropics and the Arctic and Antarctic circles, we have subtropics and temperate climates. And then after or around the Antarctic and Arctic circle, it would be polar climate, okay? So as you already know, all of these climates have a certain weather pattern. So depending on where a place is in the climate zone, depending on where a place is on planet Earth in which climate zone, it then impacts the weather of a place. It impacts what kind of vegetables people can grow there. It impacts the animals that live there, and it even impacts what people wear, what activities do they do. So obviously in the polar zone, where the polar zone is like it's really far away from the sun, so temperatures are really low, and obviously you can go skiing in the polar climate. You can build a snowman, whereas in the tropical climate, that is the closest to the sun, obviously the weather is really hot. You will never be able to build a snowman because it never snows in this region, or if it does, it's extremely rare. So we would also know that tropical climate, it's really hot, mostly humid, whereas temperate zone has four seasons. That would mean cold winters, however, fairly hot summers, and so on. So the weather changes depending on the climate zone. Okay, so how many climate zones? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and how many climate zones can you see across the Americas? So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all four zones that the Americas have. Okay, so yeah. Now, time for your activity. What are you going to do? You need to pretend that you are going on a trip to Barrow, which is a city in Alaska, USA, for a week. Okay? Please note that you are visiting this place during summertime, so anytime during June, July, or August, okay? What do you think you would need to pack for that, okay? And how would you know what to pack, okay? So we need to use a bit of thinking here, okay? Obviously, I need to know about the weather. I need to know what climate zone this place is in. And this is how I will know what to pack, okay? So just reflecting on how to be successful in this task. Um, in this task, we would use meta thinking strategy planning. So basically, I need to use my knowledge that I have from previous classes about, I need to know that a climate zone actually determines the weather. So I would need to do strategy planning and know I need to find out about the climate of this place, okay? So I need to do a bit of strategy planning. I need to know the climate of this place, depending on where it is on the map. So I already found it for you on the map. It's right here in this place. Okay. Now, we were using some of us missed out on these lessons, others didn't. There's a Köppen system of climate zones. Okay, so you just need to look at the Köppen system of climate zones. So I know that this place is here. Okay, I can see that the color is gray. So it's a color coded, it's a system of climate zones that has been developed. So in the past, so by the color codes, I will know which climate zone a place is in. So this is where Barrow is. Then I use the color coding. It says here ET, which means polar tundra, okay? So it's a mild tundra climate. So now we know the climate of this place. We know that Barrow in Alaska is in the mild tundra climate. Now, what do you have to do now? Google is your best friend, okay? In Google, just type in mild tundra climate summer. That means how it will give you, or it will give you information of how or what's the weather like in mild tundra climate in the summer months, okay? It will give you temperatures, it will describe the weather a little bit. So now you've Googled it, you will know exactly what the climate is like, what the weather is like in the summer, and you will be able to decide, okay, what clothes would you need, okay? If we go back to this worksheet, okay? So now you need to draw and describe what clothes would you need to stay in Barrow for a week in the summer. I included an activity for eager students. If you have extra time, if you're feeling bored, okay, this is not compulsory. This is extension work. Explain why exactly would you need these items and how does Barrow's climate differ from that where you live. Okay, so how is Barrow's climate different to where we live in Abu Dhabi? Yeah. Okay, and again, if you have time, if you don't, that's fine. You have 40 minutes for this lesson. You can print this out, stick it in your notebook, and do reflect on your learning. The worksheet for this activity will be provided on My Learning. Okay, so you will find the worksheet there. All you have to do is draw and maybe write a couple of sentences. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you next week.